Village, it has been a day. So sometimes as a foster parent, things are gonna come up and you just have to roll with it. You have to put things on pause and focus on what is the most important, what is the highest priority. And today was one of those days. I am still working full time, and so I had to put all of my meetings on hold, all of my work on hold to just tend to family stuff. And of course, due to confidentiality, I'm not gonna be able to share even in the slightest, you know, what is going on. Everyone is healthy, no need to be concerned. Things happen, things come up. It just resulted in different meetings that we had to have and calls that had to be made. But then I also had Sawyer's 2-year visit, and if you have been with us for a while, you've seen that, I think it was like last fall, it was like October, November, he ended up going to the hospital and had to have a surgery. And through that experience and the multiple doctor visits that led up to it, he is absolutely traumatized when he goes to the doctor. So he literally could not even step on the scale without just screaming and crying. It was really rough. And of course he had to have, you know, a shot, and so that didn't help things. Poor little Sawyer was just pitiful, absolutely pitiful. But because his appointment took longer than expected, I was absolutely rushing to get back to get one of the kids off the bus. And since it was one of the younger kiddos, I was just so worried that they would be scared that we weren't there. And it was only a difference of like a couple of minutes, but luckily I thought to call one of my neighbors, and she is so incredibly awesome. Shout out to Holly. I gave her a quick call and I was like, oh my gosh, please tell me that you're home. And she's like, what do you need? What do you need? And I was like, can you please wait for this child to get off of the bus? Can you keep an eye out? Make sure she's okay. Just, you know, I'm a couple minutes behind the bus, like that's all. And she was like, of course, that's not a problem. And it was just such a reassuring moment, and it just goes to show you that it really does take a village. Like right now we are juggling 5 kids, and you know, there are so many things that go along with that, because it's not just, oh, you know, 5 kids in the house. It's 5 kids who have, you know, constant appointments and, you know, trying to keep up with it. It's a lot. It really is. And so I think it's so very important, and today was an example of that, just to make sure that you have people supporting you and who are there for you. And I do have a little bit more to share with you on that. So today we have a really awesome food truck that is coming to our neighborhood. So we are going to get some pizza. The kids are so excited. They're gonna play on the playground. We might even take Crosley, but he might eat our pizza, so we might keep him home. And I'm excited to share with you guys that I've gotten some upgrades, because I am really looking to do some better quality videos for you. So I got a Rode microphone for the camera. Also got a case for it to go in to keep it protected. And I got this awesome lighting system. So I'm gonna get this all set up and see how it improves our videos. And also I'm a little bit behind on some things that have been sent to us. So we got this whole, I think it's 5 or 6 pack of beach towels, because it's about to be swim season. And this is actually from Kiana. She says, always glad to help. So thank you, Kiana, for the towels. These are gonna come in handy this summer, and the fact that they're all different colors, I added this to the list because I thought, you know, every kid can have a different color and there's no fighting over it, and everybody knows what towel's theirs. All right, so I'm gonna check out a few of these things, and I did get a double pack of USB power banks. I thought this would come in handy once they're charged up to use with the lights, because they're powered by a USB. And I will definitely let you guys know how I feel about these and put some links in the description. I'm already confused. Oh, here we go. So here is the stand controlled by the USB. Has different settings, and I'm gonna hook it up to see how we like it. All right, so this is already charged up, and this is a really good quality. Like this is, like it feels really legit. I don't know, I'm not a tech channel, so I don't have like official reviews, but this feels like it's gonna do the job. But it came already charged, so let's see how this looks. Let's show it. Wow. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that makes a huge, huge difference. And this pack actually comes with 2. And since we're not like an official YouTube channel, at least we're still kind of amateurs, this is gonna be perfect for our needs. And then I'm really excited for this. So I showed this to John. I told him I was really looking at getting an external mic so the sound quality is a lot better. I was actually going to get the cheaper version of this. It still had great reviews. It wasn't the Rode brand. And John convinced me that I really needed to just pay the extra 50 bucks and get the best that's out there. So now we're just waiting for all the kids to get home. Darcy and Sawyer are actually having an overnight at John's mom's house. She wanted some extra time with them, and John and I, you know, are not gonna turn down having the ability to sleep in a little bit since Sawyer gets him up very, very early. So for our weekend, we started off with that pizza food truck. John and I also had a chance to go garage sailing together, so this is actually a sale where I found a couple of old flip phones that the girls could use for pretend. And then we got a call that Darcy had tripped and fallen, and she had a pretty big gash in her forehead. So one of them was very superficial, the other definitely was still bleeding a little bit. So I took her into urgent care, and here's actually where she's counting all of her boo-boos, because over the past week, she had fallen 3 times with lots of scrapes. This girl has been an absolute calamity. While we were at urgent care, they were deciding between getting stitches or some glue, and luckily they decided on just gluing up the wound because it was superficial. And she got a popsicle afterwards, which highly recommend that for kids to keep them happy when they're going through something like this. But then we had more fun on Sunday. So on the way to the zoo, we picked up breakfast to go because our groceries were a little light. So we ended up going to McDonald's, and I have this really cool hack where I get a couple of big breakfasts with hotcakes, and I split it up amongst all of the kids and myself. And then we also get like an oatmeal or 2. And the covers for the big breakfast I use to kind of use extra trays for the kids. And I'm sure I'm not the only one who does this, but it definitely comes in handy. This is Sawyer's, and then that's my sandwich. And then we got to the Cincinnati Zoo, and we had an early reservation, so we went straight to the kangaroo exhibit. And this is where they have like this open area, there's a path, and you can just be with the kangaroos, and they're really adorable. Most of the time docile, but here we actually got quite a bit of fighting. So here's one clip of them fighting and standing across from each other and just kind of egging each other on. But the kids absolutely loved this, and it was a real treat to see. And all of the animals just seemed to be out. The weather was perfect. The kids were having such a great time. We were there for about 3 hours, I want to say. And then this is just a picture of a goat eating my hat. So earlier in the video, I mentioned how much of a relief it was to know that a neighbor was right there, ready to lend a hand when I needed it. And this was a situation where I couldn't call John because John was further away than I was, and so he wouldn't have been able to get there in time. And I'll be honest, someone who it typically doesn't like to ask for help, it was really hard to pick up the phone. I didn't even have her phone number. I was calling her on Facebook Messenger. And, you know, it must have been odd for her to hear from me in that way too, because she answered, and, you know, it was so reassuring. And so I want to talk about this a little bit more because we've mentioned this on the channel. People ask all the time, you know, what do you need to like get prepared to be a foster parent? And I honestly think that the #1 thing that is going to support you is making sure that you have friends, family, neighbors who are also going to support the journey. And this isn't just somebody who's going to give you a pat on the back and tell you you're doing a good job. And, you know, yeah, maybe somebody brings a meal for the first like week or 2 that kids are placed with you, but it's that ongoing support that really is going to make a difference. So we talk about how for our situation, we have alternative caregivers and respite care providers. And the difference here is that an alternative caregiver is one who can basically babysit. It's not something that's going to be for an overnight, but they're going to be background checked and fingerprinted and basically okayed by your agency and or your county. A respite care provider is going to go through those qualifications, but also additional steps that qualify them as a respite respite care provider, and then they can watch the children for an overnight. And be sure to check with your county and agency to see what specifications they have, because this is one of those situations where it's going to depend on where you are. So John and I actually went through our first 2 years of being foster parents, and we did not have any of our family go through the process of being alternative caregivers or respite care providers. And I'm not saying that because we're trying to throw them under the bus, but it just wasn't needed at the time. The kids who were being placed with us, they were mature enough that we could, leave them home alone if we were running out somewhere. Or the times that we did have respite care, we had a trusted person in our network who the child liked, and so it wasn't an issue. But towards the end of our last placement being with us, John's mom did become a respite care provider, and that was a huge help for us. We knew that it was going to support us moving forward. But again, none of our other family did that. And it wasn't until we were placed with these 3 current kids that our family kind of woke up and realized, oh man, they're definitely gonna need help. And so we have had my sister's family, they're in the process of going through respite care, but they are already alternative caregivers. So if we needed to go somewhere, we could drop them off, or they could come here and we'd be covered. But that's it. And so when I say that it takes a village, it takes some time to build that village. And the reason that I'm always talking about this and how important it is because John and I are the type of parents who need to kind of step away and, have some adult time, have some calm in order to just reset and to be the best parents that we can be for the kids who are with us. And we've all heard that phrase, you can't pour from an empty cup. And so I want to show you guys what that looks like for foster parents. So let's say this is our full cup as a foster parent. This is like how excited we are. We are ready to change the world, ready to go. But there are real life things that we have to be concerned with. So of course, what gets dumped out is work, probably a lot for work. There's also bills, keeping up with the house, keeping it clean. And that's just to simplify it. But then as a foster parent, we also have to deal with our agency as far as communications, ongoing training to maintain our license, and that takes time. And once you get kids placed with you, you're gonna be juggling a lot. So there's gonna be therapy, there's gonna be court dates, there's gonna be caseworker visits, GAL visits. And as you can see very quickly, and obviously I'm simplifying here, but your cup starts to get pretty darn low. And it's much, much harder to pour into our kids all of the love, care, and support if we have an empty cup. And this is where we don't want to be. So the reason that I harp on the fact that having family and friends who are going to support you is so that you do get those opportunities to fill your cup up, because you are not going to be the best foster parent for the kids if you're empty, if you're running on empty, if you're frustrated, if you're losing patience. And don't get me wrong, we have all been there. There are days where I cannot take, another time where somebody's going to ask me, what's for dinner? So please, if you are a new foster parent or going through the process, definitely reach out to your family and friends and just express to them how important it is for not only their support with, good vibes and words of affirmation, but also with action, because that is really what is going to help you when the time comes. And if you're watching and you know family and friends who are foster parents, ask them what is important to them, what support looks like, because, again, we're only sharing our point of view and from our experience. And so different foster parents are going to have different needs depending on the ages of the kids, the development needs of the kids, and also just how many. So I hope you found this video helpful and that you enjoyed seeing what our weekend was like. I have a lot of really exciting things coming up. I have a couple more weeks left of my full-time job, and then I'm gonna be diving headfirst into the channel, and so you should be seeing a lot more in the coming weeks. But that's it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.